In this video, I want to talk a little bit more about fabric paper, kind of because I need to move on with some projects. And this is the one I've been doing, which is merino, which is fisherman wool by Lion Brand, which is really a merino yarn on a 6-inch Harrisville design scarf loom. This is a similar piece of fabric, only in 100% cotton. And as you can see, the Yarka sauce crayons work wonderfully on it. Now, the only thing with this is really like a cherry on a table. And of course, the only thing is, those are professional drawing crayons, which aren't going to give you reds or pinks or white, bright pinky white highlights. And on fabric, you're only going to be doing limited layering. So it's good, it's a wonderful way to draw, actually, because you have to be able to depict your subject without using a lot of color. So it's basic. I'm going to wash this now and see how this comes out of cotton. I'm thinking that cotton might be slightly more absorbent and might leave more of the drawing there. So we'll find that out. Here is a way to make a page for watercolor or ink. If you don't want to give up your ink drawing or even your calligraphy, this is linen, and these are my linen rags from some of my pen and ink. And believe it or not, and don't be freaked out by it, it's an old pair of socks. They're actually not very old. I made them in wool and mistakenly threw them in the washer, and they shrunk. But now I cut the toes off, and what I'm going to do is stitch my linen to that as a backing, and this would be perfect for watercolor because the back is going to absorb most of the water out of the watercolor on your brush, and your pigment is going to remain here. So it'll change the way you paint with watercolor. But again, so here are watercolor pages, sketch pages that, unless you're using permanent pigments, you can wash out. Or if you work in ink, these were ink rags. You can make them permanent. I've washed these rags many times and the ink doesn't really come out. So those are another way to make pages. This is an 18-inch Authentic Knitting Boards 18-inch all-in-one loom that I had fisherman wool and some hand spun on. I still have the anchor thread in it, even though I washed it yesterday, and I wanted to see how it felt. It felt wonderfully. But it's a much thicker page. So maybe if you wanted to work in oil bars on fabric, this is more substantial and would give you a thicker fabric to work on with oil bars. So as you can see, the more I test things out here, there are hundreds of ways probably that you can use fabric, whether you weave it or knit it. What I haven't done yet is shrunk a crochet square because of the bumpiness. It depends on how you work. You could paint in acrylic on these, and the paint would not wash off. So there's so many different ways that you can take the type of work that you do as an artist and adapt it to working on fibers and fabrics instead of primed canvas or how do they make fiberboard? How does clayboard make clayboard? How many chemicals go into the environment with every clayboard they make? I hate to be a pain, but I'm trying to raise the awareness that we only have one Earth.